Good morning, investor and NIRVANA DAII Public Company Limited. The Stock Exchange of Thailand welcome you all to the SEC Digital Roadshow Year-End Performance of 2020. The session will run about 45 minutes, including Q&A. Presenting company will start the session by 30 minutes presentation, followed by 15 minutes Q&A. During Q&A, investor may leave your questions in the meeting room chat box or use raise hand function. Then presenting company will open your microphone so you can ask the question to the company directly. May I now invite NIRVANA DAII Public Company Limited to start the presentation, please.
Thank you for the introduction, Nan. And hello to, I guess we only have two investors at the moment, right? I guess it's a time, so I'll just go ahead and start. Hello, I'm Jerry Nustit, CFO for NIRVANA DAII. Not sure how familiar you are to our company, but let me just go through the presentation based on the fact that you might have some knowledge about our company. If there's any issue that need to be expanded or clarified, please ask me leave the questions in the chat box, so that I'll explain on the point subsequently. Okay, let's just go through the presentation quickly. I only have 30 minutes, right? So I'll try to be a bit brief then. I guess basically what we're trying to do here is to recap what happened in 2020. The sentiment was not all that favorable at all. The number of visitors, also known as number of walks that we written there, remain low throughout 2020. Although a few things that we have done in terms of marketing help improve the conversion rate a little bit, but based on the low number of visitors, so turns into pre-sale and transferred revenue, not as good as last year, as the year before, I should say. But on that note, there's some opportunities in the crisis, I guess, is the old phrase that we have heard all along. When everybody was so doom and glooms about condominium segment, we able to sell over $1 billion, sell and transfer actually over $1 billion of our ultra luxury condominium along the river in the third quarter. So that helped in terms of financials and the performance of the full year, for the fact that Banyan Tree, namely Banyan Tree Residences Riverside, Bangkok, comes with very, very hefty gross margin. We also gone ahead in terms of our township development direction. I'll expand a little bit in the presentation, but we launched two projects in Bang Na Township, namely NIRVANA Beyond Bang Na Atu Park and NIRVANA Element Bang Na. I'll expand on that a little bit later. In terms of financial, so obviously we noted early on in 2020 that we going through something that we have not experienced in the recent years or in the modern years. I guess the pandemic had hit the mankind, I guess, in early 19,000s, right? But for our time, is something new and something that caught everybody unprepared. So every one of us has to cope with it. I guess we've done okay, not so bad, but given the resources and everything that we have to manage. But the consequence of that obviously hits the financial. Nothing much change in the balance sheet size, because a lot of things cannot be expanded as we intended in the prior year. But nonetheless, on the outlook, we still have a pretty good healthy backlog going forward for the first half of this year. So the direction for 2021 is to focus a bit more in terms of inventories that we have already in the product segment that we should be expanding a little bit to cover more addressable market. And at the last, I'll recap a little bit in terms of shareholding structure, which we have gone through in the last part of 2020. Okay. Give you some graph and statistics. This is the first pictures is really the number of walks for the past 8 quarters. You can see right away the darker bars in the back represent the number of visitors going through our project has dropped significantly. The wave 1 hit in the first quarter, COVID-19 wave 2 hit in the fourth quarter. I guess not only us, we adjusted the way we communicate our product to the target market. I guess the success rate was kind of something that a little bit, there's some light. You can see the conversion rate in the second quarter shot up to about 6.8. This compared to the industry average of about maybe 3 to 5. So it was pretty good. But given the low base, as I said, healthy conversion rate hasn't helped that much. The second chart is how we convert the walks into pre-sales. So you can see that even though third quarter 2020 conversion rate 5.3, but translate into pre-sale of a very much larger, and that's what I indicated earlier, is the condominium units at the Banyan Tree Residences. See the proportion is really turned upside down. In the year that everyone was going on the landed residential segment, but we were able to sell the condominium. But I guess basically because this positioning of the condominium is very secluded. I guess this is off the Delpia River, just like many other similar segment condominium, probably next to Icon Siam, some further down the river. The positioning is quite clear that it is we talking 45 stories with only 133 units. So very not a large, not a huge communities, private lobby lift means that the risk of being contracted to the virus is much lower. Because only you go and your family go into that particular elevators going up to your room. So I guess that helps, especially in the third quarter when at basically at the peak of the first wave, that everyone was so conscious about COVID-19, and I guess this real demand, I should say, coming from the overseas from pre-sale, when it gets transferred, that's when we recognize into revenue. So as you can see, the pre-sale in the third quarter really turned into the revenue quickly. This is what the condominium looks like. 45 stories along, very close to the river. We sold altogether 24 units throughout 2020, and 21 units were transferred promptly within the year, mostly within the third quarter. There's only 3 backlog units that get carried into 2021. So big contributors to the revenue in the last year was Banyan Tree. This is the like I said, is a very high margin condominium, so it helps absorb the loss in other segment. This is the first project in the Bang Na Township. I'll expand a little bit here in terms of Bang Township development. I guess from maybe 2 years ago onward, the direction was very clear that we would like more in terms of larger scale land bank. Like for this particular example, there's a community mall developer. Okay, this particular location is off Bang Na Trat highway. Our partner built a lifestyle mall off the highway, and there's a plot of land that he wanted to develop into a residential project. So we went in and joint development. What we mean by that is we didn't actually buy the land. This is what we call a turnkey solution project. Basically, we go in and provide service to the landlord in terms of project development from the upstream all the way down to the downstream. That means from getting the land ready, getting all the permissions, getting do the construction, QC, sales, marketing, after sales, and home care. We provide all that service. So we bear our brand, but without having to invest into the land itself. So it's a asset-light kind of approach for us. Less capital expenditure. All we have to do is basically build our show units, 3 units of the 3 types. I guess the issue kind of stacked on the township. I was wanting to expand. So basically, township means multiple projects in one area. In this case, there's already commercial developed by the landlord, so we don't have to do the commercial part. We just go in, provide basically traffic into the retail shops to the mall. This retail shop, it consists of 24/7 supermarket, a leading brand for Thailand, and we also have very nice restaurants and coffee shops that on Sunday afternoon our residents could walk only less than 5 minutes to the community mall and enjoy their whatever they have to do, banking or grocery shopping, or basically chilling out at the coffee shops. So township, it means similar in something along this line. This is the first one in the Bang Na township. Higher segment, NIRVANA Beyond. We're talking exclusively 35 units, and we sold at the launch about 20%. And the other a little bit more mass kind of segment is what we call NIRVANA Element, brand new brand that we just launched last year. It's basically to create a new entry level for single house segment within our portfolio. NIRVANA Beyond price range is 25 to 50, but for NIRVANA Element we're talking 9 to 20. So basically it's if you following us closely, you will know that NIRVANA DAII, which is another project, is the entry level, was the entry level before, the only entry level before. Price range for 3-story to 3.5 stories is starting from 7 million baht up to 15. So this is a similar, an alternative for those who might want a little bit more land space outside, maybe a small outdoor area that are bigger than the townhouse segment in NIRVANA DAII. NIRVANA Element was launched in August, 172 units. And it's basically 2-story single detached house, and you can see in the pictures that basically it's the I guess it's the first joint what do you call it, the first product that used capacities of precast from our DAII factories in Nakhon Pathom. This was built on the if it's a car, basically it's on the chassis of a Kinsa home. We put in NIRVANA touch into the design, and so you can see the result is something more modern and highlight and utilize precast capability at the maximum. 3 types starting from 172 square meters all the way up to 400, about 400 square meters house. So those are something in terms of operational that we have done in 2020. For the financial, let me just skip to the full year. Probably it's a better summarized without having to spend too much time in the presentation. The top line were down about 9%. I guess the significant hit was in the sales of goods, down 75%. Basically, these are building material, fencing material that obviously subject to the hit of the COVID-19. A lot of, if you remember, a lot of developers last year slowed down their expansion plan. So that's what happened. There would be lower demand for our fencing and precast panels. But in terms of sales of real estate, I guess that took a hit, but like I said, the condominium helped absorb the shock, so it was down only about 8%. But the line that was up quite healthily was the construction contract. This revenue line is basically construction revenue that we earn from build-to-order houses in our project, or build-to-order houses in the turnkey solutions similar to the one in Bang Na. We slowly recognize revenue based on the construction progress. But on top of this, that really helps in terms of growth was we utilize our construction service capabilities to build something that unrelated to residential property development. We went in, and I think last year more significantly was the gas station. We turnkey a few station for the leading brand. So that helps. It's always been our strategy all along that we try to create something that subject to different economic cycle, so that we don't have to go up and depend solely on the residential market. The gross margin has actually a little bit better than we expected. I guess early on in 2020, we expected something in the high 20s in terms of gross margin, but we finished with 31%. I guess that thanks to the condominium that we transferred. But we did okay, I think, in terms of selling expense, SG&A. Both of them come down at the higher rate than the revenue. But I guess the one line I guess I should mention in the administrative expense was that we based on the new accounting standard number 9, we provide we did some provisioning for the AR throughout the year was about 15 million baht. But the one that I really want to discuss is the 23 million baht provision on I guess I should say, our equipment in the Maldives. Some background. We similar thinking to the gas station construction service that we provide. I think earlier to that, I think 2018, 2019, we went in to Maldives along with our parent company to provide the service in terms of construction for resort. Again, it's different cycle compared to the residential. We provide the resort. I think it was a beach villa using our precast capabilities. We carried a few equipment into Maldives and provide that. It turned out quite nicely. We finished the construction much faster than the conventional construction method as expected, and I guess it worked perfectly in Maldives from the fact that rather than destroying the environment, which is, if some of you been to Maldives, you know how beautiful and how clear the water is. Basically, we cast, for example, we cast footing for what you call it, water villa. And once it's all dry, we just drop into the water, level it, and all done. You can do precast construction on top of that really quickly without having to pour concrete into the water. And you can imagine how corals, how all those seas, animals would be affected. But I guess this one inevitably we got also affected by the COVID-19. Our equipment in Maldives was actually waiting for a large contract. I think it was supposed to start this year. We were pitching for work of 2 large projects. But unfortunately, those projects were delayed, and so I guess from conservatism base, we did some provisioning for these assets as well. So that's why the administrative expense had not gone down as much as we expected in the 2020. Other than that, I guess everything is quite self-explanatory. So we finished the year on the comprehensive income base of 21 million baht, and but on the owner of the parent company is minus 52. So you can see that NIRVANA River is the owner of the project, Banyan Tree Residences. We provide our service for that company. So the mix of the revenue and profits geared more toward the NIRVANA River, which we own 70%. So that's why you see the profit and loss attributable to owner of the parent company being negative and non-controlling interest being positive. Balance sheet virtually unchanged on the high level basis, but in the line item there's some reshuffling here and there. I guess I'll skip for now, and I guess if any one of you have questions, we can cover that quickly. Might mention the DE ratio a little bit on this phase. We talking about 7 billion baht in interest-bearing debt. Compared to the equity, so we're talking about 1.4 DE ratio on the net basis. Equity hasn't changed at all. In terms of outlook, backlog is about 2 billion baht for this year, for the first half, I should say. Significant is the Banyan Tree still. We still undergoing one half of this is the penthouse. We are still undergoing the work in terms of doing the interior works. The other sizable, it would be the most Isarapap, which is our second condominium. I think less than 1 kilometers from the Siriraj Hospital. We actually starting to transfer already this month out of these 417. We expect maybe about 160 million in terms of transfer within the first quarter, and the rest should follow in the second quarter out of these 470. The next sizable is the NIRVANA element in Bang Na Township, 135 million baht. That's coming from the new segment which I mentioned earlier. Okay, some direction for this year, just to sum up a little bit. I guess in terms of product, we would focus on our. We would focus. We would focus on our leadership in natural modern segment. I think if I'm sure that you guys might not be aware of history of NIRVANA development. NIRVANA development was founded by a gentleman named Sonsak Somathana. I think about 15 years ago. He was actually a financier, but have some passion in property development. So he started the company 15 years ago with a very clear product segment that he would target young professional or young business owner. So he launched the first few. I guess the flagship product was NIRVANA Beyond, 3 stories, modern house. At that point, no one was doing 3-story single house. So he found the niche market and built product with a very clear target market in mind. So he was able to win in terms of being small, but being able to go squeeze into the market. We want to repeat that, okay, in terms of product, but we would a little bit go down the spectrum, still go with the natural modern segment, but maybe come up with alternative that is really, again, differentiate in terms of product from others, and at the same time on the township development approach, meaning varieties of our product in one area, complemented by some other retail and commercial spaces. So in terms of efficiency, I guess I should mention a little bit on this point. Obviously, we would focus on sales of the inventory and management of land bank. I guess in the situation where people don't decide to buy house on pause, they think and they have to go through stringent credit policy at the post-financing banks. I guess we have to do a few things to survive. Land bank management is something that we have to manage properly. Carrying on land bank that may be not suitable for development in a year or two, we might have to let go to lower the debt portfolio and to cope with actually the cash flow situation, of course, and also to cope with the consequence of the change in the share structure impact on the interest rate a little bit. So that's rebalancing that we have to do. That's what I'm trying to say. So don't be surprised that there will be some land transaction both way, sell out and also buy in. Basically, some of the land banks are concentrated in one area in such a way that we cannot really launch segment that is too close to one another. it would cannibalize one another. So we should maybe sell some in this area and maybe acquire some in other area. So that's what I mean by asset liability rebalance, and there's also land trading transaction. And in terms of opportunities, now that we are more or less free-handed in terms of managing our Integrity Thailand Bank, we would be going ahead in terms of partnership and collaboration for new businesses. I think we'll come back and expand a little bit once it's more solid. And what I'll give generally, I can give you a feel of what it's like. This is basically some commercial area that complement the township. Could be something in the medical area, could be something in the what you call it, self-storage kind of business. It could be parking structure that were applicable, and service hotel is also something, or retirement housing, medical assistant, blah blah blah. This is we're cooking in the back burner. I think we'll come back to you with more solid and more what you call it, once plan that we once we finalize with the partner. So basically, at this point, we targeting 4 new projects worth about 7 billion baht for this year, on top of the 11 ongoing project worth about 12 billion baht, and some land trading transaction that you would see at this point, estimating about 1.8 billion. This is our land bank. More significantly is in the Thailand area. Like I said, although we want to develop in the township base, but I guess 200 right is a bit large. So we might sell or lease to someone that could help us build the township here. We could, once with that capital, we will go acquire land elsewhere to fit into our product approach that we talked about earlier. Here is the Bang Na township with about 53 right in Bang Na area. The others are not that big. I guess the sizable one is the one in Ekamai Ramintra area, on actually on a small street called Sukhon Tasawat Street. We getting ready to construct and launch the third, I guess, project of NIRVANA DAII, which is our townhouse segment. The rest are smaller and suitable more for condominium. The two on the most left are actually the two land that we got onto our balance sheet through the M&A during merger with NIRVANA Development and DAII Group. Okay, last slide. A quick recap on the change in the shareholding structure. On January 6th this year, there was a significant change in the shareholding structure. Senior State sold their 51.56% share to the Somatana family, which is the founder of NIRVANA development originally. And okay, the transaction price, the price was 2.52 baht per share, and okay. So after the transaction, obviously this transaction subject to mandatory tender offer. So there was about 7.58% shares were tendered. So after the transaction, Somatana family owns under the two name Watana Somatana and Sontak Somatana own a combined stake of about 74.5%. And I think on February 24th, there was a report form 246-2 on the SEC website that there's a new shareholders coming in under the name of Kun Chatchai Piya Sombat Kun, purchased about 7.6% of the share from the old share from Mrs. Somatana, Mrs. Watana Somatana. So basically, to sum it up, the share transaction completed in I should say February 23rd, with the tender offers complete, and now we have a new shareholder of currently about 7.6%. Okay, that sums it up. I guess I'm gonna open the question box.
We have 3 more minutes for Q&A. So if who has any question, you can send through the chat box or use let's
Or you can ask. I don't see any question in the chat box. So you guys can go ahead and ask the question live, I guess. Raise your hand. คุณแนนครับ anyone has raised the hand? I guess not, huh?
No, I don't see no one raised hand. So Kunjalika, I think the time is up now, and
Okay.
I think there are no any questions. So I would like to, the Stock Exchange of Thailand would like to thank you investors and company for joining us. We look forward to welcome you all again in the next quarter. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Thanks everyone for
Okay,ค่ะ.
for